You're standing in front of people, and you've just said something embarrassing. You feel it before anyone says a word, heat rising up your neck, into your cheeks, your ears. Everyone can see it. You did not choose this. You cannot stop it. Right at the exact moment you most want to disappear, your body lights up like a signal flare and broadcasts your weakness to the room. Why would evolution do that to you? Maybe you think blushing is just embarrassment leaking out, a minor glitch in your nervous system. Maybe you think it's something you could control if you just relaxed enough. Or maybe you've never really questioned it. Your face just does this sometimes. And that's that. Here's what researchers have found. Blushing might be one of the oldest, most precise social signals the human body has ever built. And the fact that you cannot fake it or stop it isn't a flaw. It's the entire point. Start with the mechanics. When you feel exposed or judged, your body releases adrenaline, which dilates the tiny veins just under the skin. That part isn't unique. Adrenaline does that everywhere. What is unique is your face. The skin on your cheeks, ears, and neck carries a noticeably higher concentration of these blood vessel receptors than skin almost anywhere else on your body. Evolution didn't just give you a stress response, it built a stress response specifically engineered to show up where everyone can see it. Charles Darwin spent years studying this and called blushing the most peculiar and most human of all expressions. He went looking for it in animals and couldn't find it. Other primates flush during anger, exertion, or dominance displays. A chimpanzee's face can redden when it's aggressive. But that's a side effect of arousal, not a response to being watched and judged. As far as researchers can tell, humans are the only species that blushes specifically because we're aware other minds are evaluating us. That detail matters more than it sounds like. To blush, your brain has to model what someone else thinks of you, and care enough about it that your body reacts before you've consciously processed the thought. Darwin even noted something stranger. People who have been blind since birth still blush, in the same situations, on the same cues, despite never having seen another person's face do it. That's not something you learn by watching others. That's wiring. So if it's wired in, what's it for? This is where psychologist Dr. Keltner's research on embarrassment becomes important. Keltner studied embarrassment displays across cultures, the blush, the gaze drop, the head tilt, the controlled half smile, and found they function almost identically to submission and appeasement signals seen in other primates. When a lower-ranking animal backs down from conflict, it signals, "I am not a threat," through specific recognizable body language. Keltner's research suggests human embarrassment, blushing included, may be doing the exact same job. Except instead of preventing a physical fight, it's repairing a social one. And it works. In studies where people viewed photos of someone after they'd been told that person made an obvious social mistake, the person photographed mid-blush was consistently rated as more trustworthy, more likable, and more readily forgiven than the same person photographed with a neutral expression. The blush wasn't seen as weakness. It was read as proof the person knew they'd messed up, and that mattered more than the mistake itself. That's the trick. A blush is hard to fake convincingly, which is exactly why it works as proof. The same logic shows up everywhere in nature. A costly signal, one that's difficult to counterfeit, is the only kind other people can actually trust. You can say, "I'm sorry," with zero sincerity. You cannot order your capillaries to dilate on command. Humans have known this instinctively for a very long time. In the Victorian era, women applied rouge specifically to mimic a blush, because a flushed cheek read as modest, sincere, socially appealing. They were cosmetically forging a signal that, until then, only your nervous system could produce. That alone tells you how much social currency a blush carried. Widen the lens again, and you find blushing tangled up in one of the most common human fears alive today: public speaking. Surveys consistently rank it above flying, heights, even death for some people. Strip away the surface fear, and what's underneath is almost always the same thing: the fear of visibly, uncontrollably broadcasting your own anxiety to a room full of judging eyes. The exact mechanism Darwin puzzled over in the 1800s is still quietly running the show in every conference room and first date today. It even complicates something as modern as lie detection. Polygraph tests measure physiological arousal: sweat, heart rate, blood flow, the same systems involved in blushing. But guilt and simple social anxiety can trigger nearly identical signals. Multiple studies have shown polygraphs can't reliably tell the difference between a liar and an innocent person who's just terrified of being disbelieved. The same ancient circuitry that makes a blush a trustworthy signal in everyday life makes it almost useless as a courtroom tool. So go back to that room, that moment the heat rises up your neck, before you can stop it. You're not malfunctioning. You're running one of the most ancient honesty systems your body has, older than language, older than writing, possibly older than the modern human face itself. It cannot lie convincingly, and that's exactly why, for thousands of generations, it's been quietly doing its job, telling the people around you, faster than words ever could, that you are still one of them.